Hello guys, my name's Mark O'Hare. This is We Love Betting, the Football League chapter now again. Um, so without further ado, we'll start straight away with Nottingham Forest against Leeds on Saturday at 3 p.m. Because Forest has been a very interesting start to the season for them. 6 points from 4 games. Started off with quite a fortunate 4-3 win over Burton, a real ding-dong battle there at the City Ground. Burton could have easily got a point off that in that fixture. A very open and exciting match indeed. They followed that up with a quite unlucky, I thought, 3-0 defeat at Brighton. I think the result wasn't a fair reflection of Forest's play in that game. They could have easily scored. And then a 1-0 defeat at Brentford, where again they played pretty well in patches, probably deserved a little bit more than 0 points at Griffin Park. But then last week they saw off Wigan 4-3 at the City Ground, particularly very good in the second half. They played very, very well in that game. But you look at what Philippe Montagnier is trying to do there. He's already used 23 players, 21 have started matches already this season. A very young Forest squad there as well, but they've coped reasonably well. And so there's certainly cause for optimism around the City Ground, especially with the style of play, the very open and attacking style of play. A sea change from what Dougie Freedman was overseeing at Forest. Only 4 clubs in the Championship have actually had more shots than Forest this season, but on the flip side, only 4 clubs have actually faced more shots than Nottingham Forest this season. It's given a total average of 29 shots per game in Forest matches so far, so plenty of goal-mouth action. They're hitting sort of an expected goals per game ratio of 1.6, 1.8 goals against, so on the flip side of that. So again, we're looking at an expected goal average of 3.4 goals per game, a very, very healthy figure for punters who are looking for a goal angle in this match, which I am. Because Montagnier has talked about his need for more firepower. Son Bolonga is supposed to be close to full fitness despite his hamstring scare last week. And the forward Cumberson, I think forward Lars Velvik has been subject of interest from abroad, so I'm not too sure if he'll play here. But Ollie Burke's earning rave reviews down the flanks, and I really think they've got enough potential in this team to trouble a Leeds United side on Saturday, or at least grab a goal, because we're looking at both teams to score at 10-11 with 188 bet. Gary Monk, rumoured to be close to the sack after a pretty poor start, 1 point from 3 games. They were awful at QPR on the opening day, failed to have a shot on target in that game, but unlucky not to pick up a point at home to Birmingham, and then a worthy draw at home to Fulham after that, a very solid second half display where they created plenty of chances. And along with EFL Cup progress, they got their first league win of the season last weekend at Sheffield Wednesday. A very impressive result. They were much the better team for a good hour of that game, grabbed the goal and then saw out a deserved 2-0 win. They scored in 3 of their 4 league games, kept just the 1 clean sheet under Monk. They got an expected goal rate of 1.2, conceding 1.7 per game, which gives you a sort of total expected goal rate of 2.9 goals per game. Another very good figure there. Only Birmingham have actually faced more shots than Leeds this season, whose matches are averaging 27 shots in total. Another very high figure. They've got a fully fit squad apart from Berardi for this weekend's game. And I just looked at that 10-11 from 188 bet on both teams to score. I thought we'd be looking at something closer to 4-5 here. So I'm going all in on both teams to score here. Despite having different managers in charge last season, this BTTS bet won in 15 of the last 25 Forest home games since the start of last season, and 14 of 25 Leeds away matches. That's a 58% average strike rate there, which in betting terms is around a 7-10 shot. So 10-11 is great value for us there. Moving on to Chesterfield against Millwall on Saturday in League One. Very few people had Chesterfield to go well in League One, but Danny Wilson's men have started really, really well. 7 points despite a relatively comfortable fixture list. But it's performances in those games which have really caught my eye. They drew at Oxford, back-to-back home wins against Swindon and Walsall before a very unjust defeat at Shrewsbury last Saturday. They had 17 efforts on goal in that game, 8 on target to the hosts' 3, 2 headers from corners with Shrewsbury's goals after the Spirots had taken the lead in that game, so things to work on in defence from set pieces for Danny Wilson there, but they've been very impressive, dominating the shot counts in all those games. Ched Evans has made a real immediate impact as well in attack, Only Scunthorpe have had more shots in League One. No side's had more shots on target, and they've scored in every game too. Their expected goals rate is around the 1.85 mark, a very strong figure. And I expect them to score against Millwall at home this weekend. You think when they took over, when Danny Wilson took over the team last season, they were struggling, but at home under Danny Wilson's watch, they've only failed to score in 3 of their 14 home fixtures. They have only kept 3 clean sheets though in that time, so that's led to 9 both teams to score winners and 14. And that's the angle again here, because we're getting 4 to 5 from 188bet, which I think is a very reasonable price. Millwall, for their season so far, they dominated a very toothless Oldham 3-0 on the opening day, but then held 2-2 at MK Dons, a pretty fair share of the spoils in that match. They were then absolutely spanked at Peterborough 5-1. Posh were 3-0 up in half an hour. Millwall never really recovered. They got a goal back, a late consolation, but and they got back on track, of course, last weekend when beating Sheffield United 2-1. Although a late penalty decided it, Millwall much the better team in that game, so fully deserved the points. They've been quite middle of the road, though, Millwall, in terms of shot count and shots on target. But you know, they have got Lee Gregory and Steve Morrison up front, arguably the league's most fearsome and formidable strike partnership, so you can never rule them out. They've added Callum Butcher to the ranks this week on loan from Burton, a very able midfielder who should help them. Under Harris's charge in League One, Millwall have seen 18 of their 25 away games feature 3 goals or more. The same figure, 18 of 25, returning profitable both teams to score bets. That's 72% strike rate for winning BTTS bets, sort of implies odds of 2 to 5 on a repeat this weekend. They've scored in 22 of their 25 away, kept just 6 clean sheets in that time. 4 to 5 to me looks like great value again. And finally into League Two, Exeter host Portsmouth. Last week we talked about Exeter being a little bit unfortunate with injuries, form, finishing and luck, and they turned it around to beat Accrington last weekend. To my surprise, in the end, a 13-2 winner with the BTTS copping as well. The injury crisis has subsided a little bit, but captain Jordan Moore-Taylor remains doubtful here, and that luck that eluded them previously was on their side at Accrington. Aki were well on top for the first hour before Exeter scored, and probably should have taken a share of the spoils there. Nevertheless, Exeter took the 3 points off the bottom of the league and then played Hull in midweek. Only enjoyed 37% possession in that game against the Premier League team, lost 3-1 despite taking the lead. And we touched on it last week as well, how poor Exeter's home record is, just 4 wins at home in the past year. That's despite, and then also if we look back since 2012-13, they've only won 29% of their home games, a pretty awful record for a team that finished 10th, 16th, 10th and 14th in the past 4 campaigns. This term, sort of sloppy finishing, profligate pay in the final thirds contributed to just 11 shots on target in the league. Only Newport and Cambridge have worse records. And they're coming up against a Portsmouth team that have only faced 8 shots on target across 4 very dominant displays. I think we can kind of ignore the first 4 results of Pompey's season. Held 1-1 at home to Carlisle, despite winning the shot count 23-2 and only conceding the 1 shot on target. Drew 0-0 at Crewe in a fairly fair draw. Again, just conceded the 1 shot on target. And then Morecambe goalkeeper Barry Roach had a man of the match display as Morecambe beat them 2-0 in Lancashire. Pompey again won the shot count 25-7, dominated possession, corners, shots on target. So Paul Cork was very, very relieved to beat Colchester 2-0 last weekend. It took till the 80th minute for Gary Roberts' penalty to open it up, and they won 2-0 in the end. Relieves a bit of pressure, but again they dominated all the performance data. If you look across the Football League, no team is dominating games as much as Portsmouth. They're getting an expected goal rate of 2.25 goals per game, and only Norwich and Wolves have an expected goals against rate as low as Pompey's 0.7. Under Cook's watch, they've won 11 away games, a 44% win rate, which would make them a sort of 5 to 4 shot. They're 11 to 10 here, but you could easily make them an even money shot based on their performance data this season. They've won 7 of their 11 away games at top half teams last season. The majority of League Two teams will look to sort of shut up shop, defend very deep, pack the midfield and offer a real physical approach to Portsmouth, which has often proven Pompey's downfall. But Exeter won't do that. They'll come out and play. They're pretty much one of the least physical teams in the team, so Pompey should have time and confidence on the ball and come across with a victory here. Unlike Exeter, they haven't been in cup action in midweek either, so they're well rested. And I think the 11 to 10 from Marathon is a decent value bet this weekend. So Exeter v Portsmouth, Pompey to win at 11 to 10 with Marathon. We're looking at both teams to score when Chesterfield host Millwall at 4 to 5 at 188 bet. And also both teams to score when Forest take on Leeds at 10 to 11 at 188 bet. Best of luck.